On the 26th of May 2017, BAND-MAID released onto the world their first ever ballad, a song that would later be released alongside Choose Me on the 19th of July and be featured on their second full studio album World Domination. Their first attempt at a ballad went perfectly and cemented that these 5 women can do no wrong when it comes to songwriting. This song is not only my favorite song by BAND-MAID, it's also my favorite song of all time. So without further ado, let's do some daydreaming. Before we actually get on with the song proper, I'm going to do what I normally do and let's deal with the production behind the song. The song was initially released when the music video dropped onto the BAND-MAID official YouTube channel on the 26th of May 2017 and has garnered 3.5 million views as of time of writing, with half of those views coming from me alone. The band, like they do with all their songs nowadays, wrote this one all on their own with both Miku and Saiki writing the lyrics to this one. The music video, to my surprise, was actually filmed in Taiwan, not in Japan. That's really cool, as I think that's the only MV to be filmed outside of Japan, but I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me. I also found out some info behind the making of this song with an interview with Geki Rock in July 2017. Saiki actually asked Kanami to make a ballad since she thought it would make a nice breather song during concerts, and Saiki is a fan of ballads, so she thought it was time to do one. Miku expressed that she thought the song would be popular overseas, and I think she hit the head on the nail with that statement. Kanami was also asked to implement the song with a bit of Utada Hikaru with a rock accent, which is amazing to me as I love Utada. Or rather, I only listened to her work on the Kingdom Hearts series, but that's still amazing to hear from me, as Kingdom Hearts is one of my favorite series of all time. I'll include more of this as we actually talk about the song itself, as to not bog down this whole section. The opening begins with Saiki essentially singing on her own, and it's the best way to open up this track as it sets the mood right from the start. Saiki said in that interview that she loves songs that begin with vocals, and the band hadn't done one in quite some time, so she thought this was the perfect time to do it once more. Kanami is playing during this, and there is some of that wonderful overhead noise playing as well, but this entire 20-ish seconds belongs entirely to Saiki, as does the entire song. The way she is led in by that background noise, it building up and becoming less and less as Saiki starts singing, is gorgeous, as are the shots of the members in the MV as they are stood alone in the deserted streets of Taiwan. Everyone then blasts away for a good 15 seconds or so, and it's this amazing emotional outcry from them all. Kanami with a riff that rides the line between heavy and light perfectly, Misa has a solid bass line that holds everything together, being really deep and thick, making her noticeable even if you weren't listening for her, and Akane with some really solid drumming to bring it together as well. This right here is about as hard as the sound gets, and I love it for that. They only save the really big moments when they matter the most, and when they have the most impact, and that's what makes this track shine so much. The first verse begins, and it's that same thing that was happening before with Saiki on her own, but this time it's just Kanami playing, no overhead background music anymore. Kanami said she was conscious of this part in particular. Either this or the opening bit, I couldn't really tell. She said she used a lot of first and third strings, making the sound more cheerful while the bass and drums are more steady throughout. What Kanami is playing here is very hypnotic, to the point where it doesn't even feel real anymore. What she's playing almost becomes white noise since it becomes very repetitive, but not in the obnoxious bad way, but rather in the relaxing sort of way. Like, I could fall asleep listening to this, that kind of relaxing. The rest of the members join in now, but even then, the song still keeps that relaxed feeling throughout, all the way up until the chorus begins proper. There really isn't much to describe here, as everyone is playing a nice steady part here. Nothing really stands out, which is the best thing about this track. No one ever stands out for too long, making for a really interesting track where everyone is on the same ground for most of it. In most BAND-MAID songs, there's usually a section where like Misa or Akane will have a part to themselves for a few bars, but not here. That really doesn't happen, and I think that's what makes this work so well. Everyone is uniform, sticking to the overall sound, not making it about themselves, but rather making it about the song as a whole, and I love that so much. Miku also joins in with Saiki for the vocals, and this honestly might be Miku's best work in the vocals department. She's really that good throughout the whole thing. She sings the higher part in contrast to Saiki, bringing in this awesome dynamic that really shines during a certain part during the chorus, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Speaking of the chorus, it's time for As Saiki Disappears, giving us the opportunity to really enjoy the lightness that this song offers us. That hypnotic playing from Kanami is back, front and center here, which I'm a huge fan of. But it doesn't stay like that for long as Akane hits us with potentially my favorite part in the whole song, hitting every drum in her kit. This gives me such a happy smile every time I hear it. And this is followed up by Miku singing Daydreaming of You twice before we rock right into the chorus. The music escapes us for a brief moment before it hits, but like the rest of the song, it's still very subdued in nature, never really becoming a full rock song like many others they've done before or after this one. The main thing that sticks out to me, other than Saiki's beautiful voice, is Kanami's part. It sticks out so much since she wasn't really playing that much in the verse, and this honestly isn't much either, but it just stands out so much more since there's more energy here than there was during the verse. Even Akane doesn't stand out much, but if you do listen to her part, it is really nice and honestly a lot more complicated than it feels if you're just casually listening to the song. There's a part where she hits one of the snares twice really fast. I'm not sure exactly which drum it is. Takes a brief pause, then continues to pump out the rest of the hits, which is really amazing. Such a small detail that could potentially go unnoticed. I can't lie here, I really don't know what Miku is playing during the chorus, but I will mention that she has an awesome vocal part that isn't really heard in the studio version, but is 100% noticeable when listening to the live version. The harmony between the two vocalists is so damn beautiful to hear, and I can't explain it further than that, so I'm just gonna play it for you. The star of this chorus is Saiki, obviously, but that probably wasn't a surprise. The way she can pour out the emotions and still sing very strongly, making the music hit even harder, really makes this chorus what it is. Every time I get to the chorus, I can't help but sing along to her, and every time I do that, I find myself tearing up sometimes due to how beautiful her voice is. This is the main reason why I don't bother talking about the lyrics for these videos, since I can feel all the emotions without knowing anything she's saying. That's how powerful music can be. The chorus ends with Saiki holding on to the last of her notes as we get some nice play from Misa and Kanami, leading us to the second verse. The thing I noticed right away when hearing the second verse is Kanami's different part. It sounds like a very frantic mess, as if her emotions can't be contained for much longer and it's affecting the way she's playing. I really like that. It's again another thing where it can become white noise if you listen to it for too long. But I honestly really love that. It gets me more relaxed and I can try to focus on other things. Akane doesn't have anything special here and it sounds very simple, giving the focus to everyone else as she takes the back seat essentially. And I won't lie, I can't really hear Misa all that much, and that doesn't really change when she hits a really powerful slide. I do have that problem of not being able to hear her, and I can't hear her during this. Maybe I can, and I just don't recognize that what she's playing is her, but it could very easily be that since Miku isn't playing at all here and doesn't show up until the solo part, instrumentally anyway. She does come in vocally after Misa hits the slide, and I think that adds a lot to the section as it sounds fuller than what it was before, so I'm all for that, can't get enough of Miku singing. That's really about it for the second verse, but this is really just a lead up to the next section, and we all know what that is. The singular individual notes that Kanami plays all by herself before getting into the amazing solo is so beautiful, as if everyone was told to get out of her way as she's about to shred her heart out. She hits us with the powerful stroking of the neck of the guitar, and she is off in one of her most powerful solos she's ever made. To me, this is the peak of what she's done, with everything else being below this. The emotion she pulls off in this section is amazing to hear. It hits like a goddamn hammer every time I hear it. It doesn't come out of nowhere, it's built up perfectly, and it sounds like the rest of the song, and that's why I think it stands out so much. It hits that amazing line of standing out amongst the rest of the song in terms of its emotional impact, but I also feel like it flies by so quickly that I miss it every time I hear it. I hear the first notes of the solo, and next thing I know, I'm singing alongside the Miku as we approach the finale of the song. I know that might have sounded like a criticism, but it really isn't. I'm just not good at putting it into proper words. It's beautiful in nearly every way. Her frantic play hits my heart so hard and so suddenly, I'm left out of breath as I enjoy the emotion she's trying to tell me. I do need to praise the rest of the band members during this as well, as they back up very nicely, adding even more to this section. There is someone that has this really awesome part where they hit this really low sounding note, and it holds there for quite a while before they hit it again, and it kind of fades away as the person continues to shred away. I know I said low, so that should indicate Misa, but even watching it live, I couldn't tell who was playing it, and I don't think it matters too much. Akane also adds a lot with the deepness of the drums, but also gives us the lightness with the cymbals, creating a beautiful part that really blends perfectly with this section. Everything combined adds up to the best solo section in any song, and I don't say that lightly as they have a lot of good ones. But this one hits me right in my heart, and that's what's very important to me. We once again get that amazing pre-chorus section with Miku singing without Psyche. The first two also being with minimal instrumental as Kanami wails away her final note of the solo before doing the verse play again, just as Miku begins her singing. This is absolutely gorgeous as Miku doesn't sing on her own that often, especially in a song with Psyche. So I love that we get this brief section here. The next two are just as good, with the full sound coming back in as Misa enters with a really nice slide. And this is all on Akane here as she ramps it up just enough to bring us into the finale of the song, and by God, this last chorus is somehow even better than the first one. Maybe it's because I know it's the end of the song, and the emotions are coming out even more than ever before, but this is the better chorus, even though it's exactly the same up until the end. Psyche is so goddamn good here. I only hear her, only sing along to her, and I will do nothing else during this section except give her all the praise in the world. I also think a huge part of this is the video is so goddamn good here. You can tell just how much emotion Psyche is putting on in the video, as if her vocals weren't powerful enough on their own. The faces she makes gets me to the point of tears sometimes, her being not only that beautiful, but I can also see the pain she's going through emotionally as she attempts to get the rest of the song out before she breaks down herself. The last thing we hear in this is the last breath of Psyche as she sings us off, all by herself, ending the song in the proper way, with the person who carried the song from start to finish. I'm not really sure if this video put across the beauty of the song, or even how much I love it that well. It's very hard to talk about something you love so much, especially if it's something like music, since it's really difficult to convey exactly what it is that I love about it without repeating myself so much. And I know I did repeat myself a lot. I tried my best to put my incoherent thoughts into something that resembles a constructive look, but I know no matter how much time, no matter how much effort I put into this, I will probably never fully convey my emotions properly, nor do I think I will ever be happy with this video. I will of course have left out some stuff, because I couldn't properly put them down on the paper. So much is running through my head when I was writing this. It was really hard to decide what to put in, what not to put in, or even how to properly convey it without rambling on for 20 minutes. At the end of the day though, this is my favorite song by BAND-MAID, and I honestly don't see that changing anytime soon.